Terry, did you have something that you wanted to say to start off the meeting?
Well, we discussed about the overlay, remember? If you don't wanna do it, we don't have to.
Okay, well, this is basically about alcohol today. If we can just do that, that's okay.
That's fine with me.
Okay, all right. We're gonna go and start, the meeting. Mr. Minifield is our city attorney, and he has drawn up these for us, and we're gonna go over and look at them, and I'm gonna turn the meeting over to him.
Good evening
Right
now.
here. There's one right there.
What I'm drawing up right now is going to be our new alcohol, beverage ordinances. And some of this is going to change for several reasons. One of the main reasons things are going to change is because the law has changed. Because some of our alcohol ordinances are kind of antiquated, and we got to bring the whole thing up to date. A lot of things that's gonna be, we're gonna have to adhere to is state law. That's the way that's basically run, especially with alcohol. There are a few things where we're gonna have some room to move around and make some adjustments and decision ourselves, but we got to conform to state law. The first thing I want to do, by the way, I've heard all of this today, and the machine in there, some of this is in color, and the machine just did it in black and white. Miss Pittman is making some colors, at least enough for the council and the mayor. So, rest of it, I have to kind of get to you later, okay? But one thing I do want to tell you is, and I want you to look at this, it's nothing for you to have to study and gaze on, but we do have some new definitions passed by the state that you might want to start getting familiar with these new definitions now. We have more of them. And anytime you're referring to this ordinance, and it mentions one of these words, you might want to go back and get the definition that's in the ordinance to describe whatever, so you know what the meaning of the word is in accordance with the law, okay? Like an alcoholic beverage means any fluid or any solid capable of being converted into a fluid, suitable for human consumption and containing more than 1/2 or 1% alcohol by volume. And that includes malt, blenders, spirituals, alcohol, or intoxicating liquors, beer, porter, ale, stout, fruit juices, cider, or wine. See, before I read this, I didn't know all this was alcohol. But it does include all of that. So look at the definition, part for a while, not now, but, and it talked about a bona fide nonprofit in there. A bona fide nonprofit organization is defined as an organization which is not organized for the purpose of making a profit and which is exempt from federal income taxation under section 501 of the Internal Revenue Code. A bona fide non-corporation shall mean, and it has about 4 meanings down there. Because I understand, I'm not sure, but I think I heard that somebody is not gonna be selling alcohol, but they're gonna have intended to have a building where a person could come in and bring alcohol.
Bottle club.
Yeah, and, thank you, ma'am. So, we got to get familiar with all of that. And right now, I'm just gonna pass these out. Basically, I think I have enough for the council.
I've got mine.
Yours not in writing,
Oh,
read.
color.
Slide it to me. Thank you, brother.
Let's just put them in
Yeah, you got
the
it.
table.
Huh?
Take that one.
Can I get the black and white? Okay, thank you.
Here, take this.
You gotta read it. You want to read it?
Yes, sir.
Ma- What? It's not?
Well, the good one is in the
Okay.
council box, it's not right here.
All right. referring to a color when I let everybody know that this is red, okay? We'll go one definition, which is God. 24. 30, 31, 37, 39, 40. So we're dealing with quite a few definitions in this thing. I'm on page 8, and we still dealing with definitions. Now, you might want to get familiar with what a wholesale dealer is of liquor and more products. I'm not gonna get in specifics tonight, but look on page 9. And it talks about exempt products, which this code does not deal with exempt products. And it tell you what they consider an exempt product is. Always look at the definition at the beginning of each section, and kind of give you an idea of what the entire ordinance is about, like refusal to allow inspection. If you are dealing with this code, no person shall refuse to allow a law enforcement officer authorized to do what he's supposed to do, or the city clerk for inspection and things like that. I'm not gonna deal with each one of these in specificity because they just general, and the interpretation is self-explanatory. And number 6, report by chief of police. The penalty for false statement when you're making out your application, that gets more into detail. These are just general things. This, number 6, is something that the council is going to have to decide. Remember, we kind of kicked it around the last time, the first time we was here. However, the recording machine was not on, and so was no way we could keep it. So we're gonna have to go back over this and get the closing hours and hours of operation, okay? That's something you all might wanna be pondering to when we get to the next meeting. Number 6, 7, we don't have to deal with anything in general because we already have an open container law for vehicles. It's just a revamp of all that, but it's an alcoholic ordinance, so you got to integrate it into here, okay? And this cross-reference that with definition on 6.1, and you might have to revise that a little bit. Drinking in public, we got to make some amendments to that and make it conform to, what's that day that we have where we can drink alcohol? Grilling on Main. See, we got to make some specific law that applies to that. See, because we don't want nobody down at the foot of, Main Street drinking liquor down there just because it's a grilling on Main. We got to geographically hem that into a certain section of downtown. And in the process of doing that, naturally we gonna have to close streets, so we got to have, you see what I mean, how we got to deal with that? So it won't be any confusion with nobody sitting on the hood of a car.
Well, probably if we just define maybe,
Limitations.
kind of like a festival district where we have a
Right.
certain district,
Yeah.
whether it be Grilling on Main or if the car club decides to do something differently or something like
Right.
that, yeah.
Yeah,
we can
all do-
Festival district and then just refer it as such each time.
And Mardi
Yeah.
Gras.
We don't
Yeah,
have to
Mardi
discuss
Gras.
it now, I just want y'all to have it in your cranium, so
Okay.
when it comes up and for discussion,
Okay.
we can all give our input. This one here, 6.9, we got to adjust that a little bit. Alcohol on premises, where, food is sold. Not now, a little later. And this is what you was talking about earlier, Ms. Blossom. 6.10 would be the bottle club. I imagine we might have a few of those around town before all this is over. Then we
You
get to,
know what, excuse me one second, Mr. Midfield, I think that we, at some point, we needed to definitely differentiate between a bottle club and a blind tiger,
right,
okay?
that's no problem.
Okay.
And a private club,
Mm-hmm.
you know. I don't have the blind tiger down here, but that's something we may have to put in there. Dealer's permit, we already have permit law, but you might wanna look at this because this tracks the state statute 26:274 down at the bottom of the page.
Mhm.
That's our guideline.
Okay.
If you notice, everything that I did comes under the umbrella of state law whenever I could do that, you know. Page 14 at the top, all the way down to state law reference, that should be in red, so you might wanna draw a line for you people that don't have a color, outline. All the way down the E should be red, and that means that, that's state law. This is what we're gonna have to follow. No changes need to be made in that section. And we talk about the separate permit for each business, even though one person may own 2 or 3 clubs,
Mhm.
you got to have a separate permit for each club. I think it's kind of self-explanatory.
Sure, just like 2 restaurants.
Yeah, okay, yeah. On page 1538, where you see NOTE note, all of that note, all the way down to the bottom of the page should be red, so you might wanna indicate red, if you don't have a red statute, and that, it continue to exist all the way to F on the other side. This has to do with, a surviving spouse of a deceased licensee may at some time, after the death, apply for a retail permit and to continue the business. And this covers that kind of thing. Talks about the application, what you have to do to get an application. I'm trying to reserve all of that section of it to, the city clerk, if you don't mind. And, this is your guideline to follow. And the following page 17, so that whole page should be read, which means we following state law. Here's something on page 18. When we start talking about procedure for determination of an issue or without a permit, there are gonna be some times where that kind of thing come up. Now, you notice it's A and B. One has to do with the municipal authorities and the parish, and the other one talks about the commissioner. We got to decide which road we going down. Okay, that's why it's in blue, There'll be some changes made, so you might wanna put that in blue. On page 19, this is 19 of 38. After ordinance 109, about 1/3 of the page down, that's the continuation of the blue all the way down to the bottom on that. You may wanna indicate that, if you don't have a color outline. This other thing about the applicant, qualification of the applicant, talked about the permit, application for permits of all kinds. Have to know, there are certain, prerequisites such as 21 years of age, older, be a citizen of the United States, and resident of the state, continuously for a period of not less than 2 years. Well, if you want to qualify, you gotta meet these qualifications.
But this is all state as well, right?
Yeah.
State mandate.
Mhm. In fact, you already have that. I believe maybe ordinance 1901, I'm not sure. But it is state. You see the revised statute on page 21, 26, 280. You know, and just below that on page 21, it's all red again. talked about your prerequisite qualification, you must be a good character and reputation and over 18 years old, and that kind of thing. Citizen of the United States, it goes through the same gamut, okay? Also on page 22, it's all red. 23 is all red. 24 is all red. Let me repeat this again. If it's all red, then that's it. That's the state law. We can't deviate from that. And that's why I want you to understand what red can't be bothered with.
Where there's a revised statute, is that revision included in this document?
Yeah. As you look at the bottom of everything I have,
So you don't have to go elsewhere to go find out what the revision is?
right. There you go. On page 25, it's all red all the way down to section 6-23. And it starts out again on page 26, 6-23.1. Misstatement or suppression of fact during your application. You got to be honest. Okay. At the bottom of page 26, the red shows up again. No person shall be granted under this chapter in contravention of any municipal ordinance adopted pursuant to the zoning laws of the state. So that stuff is done. So on the next page is also page 27, the entire page is red. The top of page 28 is also red. And you see, most of the time, and I think all the time, when I mention state law, I let you know where it came from at the bottom. At the bottom of page 28, this is state law reference, revised statute 26-281. Went into effect and that kind of thing. And see, that was the other thing that kind of confused some of us sometimes. The law is thoroughly changing. And we have to conform to the law. Permits. Now, the way I understood the statute, I think the permits, the price of the permits are determined by the state. I'm gonna recheck that out, you know.
They vary from
Okay.
these others that we had as a point of reference.
It may, but I'm just saying, I'm
Okay.
gonna have to check that out, I'm not sure. But if it does, all we gotta do is change.
Okay.
That's no big deal. I have to look back at the revised statute and see what it says.
Is there any state law that says that, when people apply for their license, can it run from our fiscal year to fiscal year, or?
I'm working on that, I know, Pam, you brought that up.
I did not want it prorated.
Mhm.
That's
See, if you-
interesting though, if the state mandates what those permit fees are, but I think that we have control of prorating or not.
Well, that's why I said I'm gonna go back and,
Okay.
and make sure of that,
Okay,
Cause I'm not sure right now whether or not we can have our own fiscal year. Because when I was looking at this, I know there was the old law, I think was March the, what, 31st? That's what's in our ordinance now, I think. But when I was going through this, I saw December the 31st. And I got to make sure that it's either December, we can do or cannot do a fiscal year, okay? State law reference, revised statute 26-276 says effective May 7th, but that was way back in 2014, okay? Which means that a lot of things may have changed since then. But they're dealing with partnerships, trustees and bankruptcies. So when we're dealing with these people, especially when we're dealing with a partnership, you know, partner A might not be able to have liquor license, and you got a problem with his, with bankruptcy. Here's where I found it. Look on on page 31, on 6-30. Is the person holding permits under this article shall file an application for renewal of such permit for the ensuing year and pay a permit fee on or before November the 4th of each year. Okay? So, and then it goes on in reference that December the 31st will be the end of the year. I need to find out for our benefit whether or not we can deviate from that. You know, that's what you asked me, right?
Right.
Okay. And it talks about delinquency and what our right of action when that kind of thing happens. 6.51, acts prohibited on premises and suspension and revocation of permits. You already got what you need. So, when people are not in accordance with this, you can, your license can be taken. This is not the complete thing. What I'm gonna do when I come back, I want you to be familiar with this and know what we're dealing with. I'll bring the other end and put the whole thing together. Now, when it comes together, some of this will be left out, because it's not needed anymore. But I try to give you the old news and the new news, and so you wouldn't have to be throwing in, or bringing no code, no ordinance for here today. Is there any questions before we go watch the game?
So these are actually our ordinances with the red lines and the blue lines that have any.
Yeah, and some of these that's not red.
Combined,
The red one is the new things, the new law that we integrated into this.
I was noticing on page 34, number 10, it talks about pool and billiards, that if you have a pool hall that sells adult beverages, but the pool tables are separate, they can come in and they're 18 years, that's gonna be hard to,
Well, you know, this is not in red,
yeah.
so we might can make
So,
some adjustments.
so we might be able to change that, and make
Yeah.
adjustments.
That's what you.
I just don't want the person that has the alcohol license because of some little small technicality, and an 18-year-old gets over there, they have to get put out of business all of a sudden.
Oh, I,
Yeah,
that's why I want you all to
yeah,
look and
yeah.
some of the things that we can change, I want you to change them.
Because, you know, if they're 18 or younger, they can go to the rec complex or Ewell or someplace like that, play pool.
No problem. We kind of circle that?
Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to be 21 to drink, right?
You gotta be 21 to drink.
But like on page 21, I just wanna understand like, that number 1 there, or is this the permits, it says you have to be 18? I don't really understand
That may have to
Number
do with
one, on page-
ABO cards, to be able to serve alcohol in the restaurant, that kind of stuff.
I think
It says applicants for state and local permits of all kinds shall demonstrate that they meet these qualifications. The first one, at 18 years old.
Well, but every server has to have an
Page
ABO
21
card.
in the middle, number
So
1.
every,
Yeah,
you know, if you go in a restaurant
Yeah, I know,
and she's
I know you have to be
18, she
18.
can bring you beer to you.
yeah. It just said permit, it didn't
But
say.
she has to have ABO
And
card.
red is
permit.
the state law, is that,
Mm-hmm.
Red's the
This might be
state.
in reference to.
so. I guess maybe you can be 18 to serve it, but you can't drink it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
You can be 18 to get ABO
Can you
card.
sell it? Can you be 18 and sell it?
yeah.
Yeah,
with
you
an
can-
So
AB.
that's what that
Sure.
means?
Yeah.
So that person can own a liquor store and sell if they're 18?
No,
No.
No,
According
a
to that.
server, be a person of good character and reputation of over 18 years of age in consideration of a person of good character,
Yeah, but look at A, but look A above it. I'm just trying to understand that for state and local permits of all kinds, so.
21.
Okay, well,
Just curious, I just was curious if that
Well, that's
18-year-old
just-
plus
look
could.
at that.
really, you really need to be curious.
It looks like it doesn't belong there, I think it's
Yeah.
on to something.
Yeah.
I don't think it belongs in that section.
I just didn't understand what that meant. And we can look through all this and see those things, I just didn't know.
Well,
I'm not familiar, I don't drink, and I just wasn't familiar with who can sell and who can, I know you have to be 18 to serve it, so.
We just need to look into that revised statute and make sure, you know,
And that's probably a
What-
blanket statement.
what it says for sure.
And you won't even apply for a permit.
The older one was 21.
Yeah, I saw that earlier, Steve, that's what I'm saying, that's 21, and that's 18. Maybe you add it,
Yeah, it was our old.
Yeah.
maybe you just add it, add it.
Can I ask a question when y'all get, or if y'all through discussing that?
Sure, go ahead.
On page 27, item F,
Let's get there.
Michael, you have to be 21 now to get an A vehicle?
No.
18?
Okay, page 27.
Some law just changed, wonder,
Okay,
The way that reads, the way I
January
understand it.
7th, the law changed, if no mistake, and I'm not clear on whether it's 18 or 21 to serve or sell. But I do know the law for tobacco just changed this
Yeah.
past week,
Right.
because Louisiana had to comply with the federal law.
Federal, yeah.
so it might be.
Even though
changed.
Louisiana say 18, but the federal law
Federal.
supersedes
Yeah.
the state law.
So you have to be 21 to sell cigarettes now?
To buy
Or to buy them?
How did you used to have to be?
18.
Oh, I bet
This
you
just
changed.
changed. so I
It
thought
just
that
changed.
was-
Just changed.
I didn't know that.
Mhm.
Mr. Wilson, what question did you have?
Okay, there's item F, page 27. The way I understand this, you know, y'all were talking last time about grandfathering in places that might be within 300 feet of churches, playgrounds, whatever. But if reading item F, you can't do that.
No.
Because the business, I mean, the liquor would have already had to be in existence, and then let's say a church or a playground came in after the fact, it's telling you that you can't close down the business for it. So,
To revoke.
I just wanna be sure that I understood that and y'all were on the same page, that you can't grandfather a store in that wants to sell liquor, and they're gonna be within distance of that, because that's, you're working in reverse.
There'll be no grandfather, because we
Well,
have no
see-
alcohol sales.
Yeah.
Well, I was told by
Established
Tarika that I was wrong.
But that was,
this right
that
here
was
said
discussed
it's-
last time, grandfathered in like a store, and I asked you later, could you show me that? Because we said, oh yeah, they'll be grandfathered in, I needed to see that in legal.
Well, I mean, it's gonna be kinda like, Save-A-Lot sits right up against the Family Life Center, St. Rest.
Right.
They won't be able to sell adult beverages.
Right.
Because they gather there. Now, if it was the church down the way, it might be an exception, but since the law says if you gather at a religious synagogue or someplace like that, so they won't be able, Save-A-Lot won't be able to sell.
There won't be any grandfather, right, because there
No.
was no liquor sales
Yeah.
before, right?
You had to have the liquor sales before.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's the way I understood it, but I didn't think that some of the council understood that, and I want to be sure
Well,
I was
it-
correct.
And help me on this, Mr. Middlefield. Downtown, we have what's that club where young people go and they do cheerleader and
Spirit of Cheer.
Spirit of Cheer? What would that be qualified as? I mean,
Private business.
it's a private business, but there's minors there. That's not that wouldn't be considered daycare or,
No.
I mean, so somebody could open up right next
It
door.
would be like a karate studio as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, would that,
I don't know.
Those are places of business that.
Yeah.
We have to, this is what we, this is gonna be something we're gonna have to do.
okay,
Places like that,
okay.
you know.
That's why I asked
As
about,
opposed to,
that's why I asked about Walmart.
play,
the property
playground
line.
and stuff like that. you
Those
know.
are not covered under here, they're not included in number
It's
Walmart's
gonna be
property
kind of-
line.
Full-time
across the
daycare.
street.
They're not
Yeah.
that, they're not any of that.
Well, now, what about the children's center?
That's a daycare.
But
So-
full-time or after-school enhancement?
In the summer, they're full-time, I believe.
Yeah, they're full-time during the summer, so that means that, Go Fresh would never, if they decided to, they wouldn't be able to sell adult beverages because they're right across the street. Am I
I've
correct?
already gotten a lot of questions about how that 300 foot is determined. And I remember we went through this once before.
I think the revised statute says from property, from the church's property line to the corner of the building that wants to sell.
Oh,
And now,
That's what you're talking
I could
about?
be wrong.
Premises.
That's gonna be.
As you walk down the sidewalk.
Yeah. And
I
then-
don't think I got to it yet.
Okay.
Yeah, as you walk down the sidewalk.
So if it's the corner of the building,
It's
that's a
just-
big difference than the corner of the property.
The
Mhm.
premise where the alcohol is sold, meaning the building that it's sold in, if I'm not mistaken, we went through.
Yeah, we're gonna,
all that.
and we're gonna, the next set of ordinance gonna deal with that.
Which,
And they got two methods in which you can make that determination.
Mhm.
From property line to property line, and there was another one. Because in some instances, you have to walk down to the end of the corner and then cross the street.
Yeah.
You know?
And so are those determinations, is that opted by us?
Yes.
Okay,
Let's use Walmart, for example, and that church sitting on the corner, so you go from their church, you go down the sidewalk at Architects Collision, and then where their driveway is, then you cut across the street to Walmart's driveway, and then you go up to Walmart. Is that,
Well, it
is
would be
that,
their property
It could
line,
be
not
two,
the building.
it's
No,
two
he's
different
saying
methods.
building.
okay,
he's saying, he's saying the
Walmart's
building.
building,
Building?
premise.
Oh, okay, I thought it was property line, it's building?
he
No.
said that there's two ways to determine it.
Well,
And
no,
it's,
he said that, but not about the building or the property line, that's my question.
I'm not saying it until I get the law in my,
I got you.
on my face.
Ain't gotten there
you
yet,
know.
okay,
Oh, no, I've gotten there,
Cause.
but I didn't put it down here.
gotcha.
And if it's not down here, it's not in my head today.
so, but there's two ways you can figure it.
I just said that.
Well, I know, but I'm just repeating that, so there's two ways you can get there. Okay,
I think, I'm not gonna make no comment.
Yeah.
What do we have now in our ordinance?
I don't know.
well, I know we can't sell any adult beverages that dispense gasoline. And as far as the restaurants.
Okay, right, but this is state law in the red,
Mhm.
so we can't change
Yeah,
that.
we can't change.
Okay, so B explains that,
Tell me what page.
on page 27.
That's what I was looking for, I knew it was somewhere.
Which number you on, Keith?
But B,
The
Nearest point of the
municipality
property
may adopt
line.
an ordinance establishing an
Church.
alternate method of measurement of the 300 feet limitation by measuring in a straight line from the nearest point of the property line of the church or synagogue, public library, school, blah, 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 blah.
And the one above it is the one that says, as you use the
Yeah,
sidewalk.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then previously, our ordinance said 300 feet or less from property line to property line.
Okay.
It doesn't say how to get there.
Right.
Okay.
So that was-
So we can use page 26, we can use C1A and 2, or you could adopt, B allows you to adopt a different method.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's what we need to look at.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions?
I like the sidewalk.
Mr. Minfield, how long do you think we ought to wait before we have another meeting, sir?
I'm gonna try to have another one of these
Okay.
this week.
How
What?
about first of next week?
Okay, that's fine, that's
Week
better
from
for me.
today?
Huh?
Yeah.
And then we
what
put the
about
whole thing
Monday?
together.
Well,
Monday?
Monday at 4, does everybody agree Monday at 4?
Is that, wait, is that
We're
not
off
Luther
Monday.
King Day?
What's the purpose?
Okay, so let's do Tuesday at 4.
Wait,
Before
we do that,
Let's, because I'm tied up on MLK Day being downtown.
Yeah, Monday's a holiday. See, y'all be closed.
What day is the weekend?
Okay.
It's Tuesday the 22nd.
No, that's Tuesday is the 21st,
Okay.
Wednesday's the 22nd.
Tuesday the 21st.
At 4:00. That work for everybody?
What's the
Mr.
purpose?
Manfield, what's your
What's the
timeline?
specific
Trying to
purpose
read
of that?
these?
Well,
What did she say?
What's the timeline?
We're
You're getting
Next
ready
set of
for
revisions on
these.
that.
What is the
Another section.
timeline on getting this together? ASAP?
Do you foresee it being within the next council meeting,
As
or is it
soon
gonna
as
be on
we
that?
That was the
get
whole
this
goal,
straight,
was to
yeah,
have it
You
before
probably have to call
council.
a special meeting,
Yeah.
people
Once-
are waiting.
Once we get them perfected, we're gonna call a special city council meeting and get them approved.
We're
But
not
we,
talking 2 or 3 months down the road, you're
No.
trying to
No,
work
no.
on it, get it done.
and at this rate, it may be next council
Yeah,
meeting.
it might, yeah, this is our top priority, Mr. Minifield is working on this exclusively right now to get this done, because there's a lot of people in the city waiting on this.
They're in limbo right
Yeah,
now.
they're in limbo. A lot of them are wanting to know, can they or can't they, and.
Well, I have a lot of people calling,
Yes.
looking for places, so I need to know what I
Sure,
can tell
welcome to
them.
our world, you know, they're calling every day, all day long.
So what is this, a preliminary template?
Yes,
Is that
yes,
sort of a template
Yes.
to be considered and amended?
correct. This is for all the city council members to look at,
So this-
write up questions, and make sure, because, some of these things in black, we could change.
So this is the first preliminary draft
Correct,
that's sort of comprehensive in scope,
yes, sir,
and you're going to pare it down
Yeah.
or amend it
yes, sir,
in some way?
yes, sir.
Who does that? I'm
And
just
further
curious.
define what's still undecided.
The city council members along with Mr. Minfield.
Did they all receive
Well,
this?
3 of them aren't here,
Right,
so they didn't get it.
that's why I'm asking, I'm
Yeah,
just saying.
we will, I'll have Wanda scan this tomorrow, send this to the 3 city council members that aren't here for some reason.
With some request to review and be
Mhm.
prepared to
And
offer amendments or
And I'll ask them if they have any questions to come in and see me and Mr. Minifield before the next meeting, so in case, so they'll be up to speed.
Mr. Taylor was here and left.
Oh, okay. Did he come in here?
He came in here when I got here, he was walking out.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, Pam and Keith were here, and when we got the information, and I'll make sure that this gets scanned to them in color, so they'll see what we got. I don't know why Mr. Taylor left. So. Is there any other questions? No? Well, we're gonna adjourn the meeting. I hope everybody go get a bag of popcorn and
I
sit
have
in
a
front of the
question.
LSU game. Yes, sir.
I've been here on a number of times where, on some occasions, there's been a lot of hot air that's left me fairly dry. Is there any plans to install any kind of post-meeting bar or anything here?
Yeah.
Let us get the ordinances in place first. We don't wanna do anything against the law.
Okay, I was just concerned about the comfort and convenience of those in attendance.
Not to add that on the last.
Charles,
Yes.
thank you very much.
Thank you.